Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and I'm showing up a little bit late to this one because it was posted on January 10th, but they did post on Daily MTG what they call the Theros Beyond Death story summary. And I looked at this and just kind of breezed through it to see if it's what I thought it was, and with absolutely no intro, no epilogue, no context, they're just like, here, have this. And I'm not even kidding, like, even that's implied. They just posted this with zero context. And that got me to thinking, okay, so we've seen the trailer, and a lot of us, but not all of us, me included, know the Theros original storyline. So what the heck are they doing this time? Because they haven't announced a book as far as I saw, but around this time, they definitely should have already had it, a couple of chapters posted if they're going back to the whole 6 to 8 chapter release it on the internet for free thing. So I guess people were starting to think, well, maybe they're just not going to post this story at all, and you have to kind of imply it from the cards, which now that we've seen all the cards, I have no idea what the hell's going on. So then I thought, okay, did they have another book, and then they knew it would be crap or that people really responded poorly to it? Because, look at the price of the Eldraine book. I feel like they dropped it a little bit, regardless of who the author was. Because it wasn't the War of the Spark guy, and they still dropped it. That's why I said regardless. So did they just summarize whatever they were going to do and throw it up onto this webpage? Because this is like 2 pages. And without comment from Wizards, the answer would appear to be yes. So, as is Desolator Magic channel tradition, I'm going to cover the lore and the story in my own special way, the way I did before all this book nonsense started. So, it starts with Elspeth was dead. Whoa, spoiler alert. But we must begin far before that, centuries ago. A long time ago. Oh wait, this isn't Aquatine. Before the gods of Theros rose to power, the Titans, horrific primal urges made flesh, roamed the mortal realm, sowing death and destruction in their wake. So, basically SJWs. Maybe some male feminists in there, maybe some angry lesbians. What else could they be describing by saying sowing death and destruction in their wake? So the mortals, powerless to defend themselves, turned to prayer in their hour of need. From this prayer, this concentrated devotion, get it? Sprang forth the gods themselves. Okay, without any knowledge of what a god was, because they seem to be like inherent natural things that spring up from the fabric of the mana within a plane, like sometimes under some circumstances. Without knowledge that that could be a thing, how and why and where would they get the idea to know to pray to something? Who were they praying to? It seems like a little bit of a putting the cart before the ox thing, you know what I mean? Unless they were just like, spaghetti at the wall, let's see what sticks. Let's just try everything. Maybe they tried interpretive dance too, I don't know. Imbued with incredible power by the faith of mortals, cotton candy bang energy drink, and dank memes, the gods sealed the Titans away in the underworld. Clothis, the god of fate, who we totally didn't just invent now and totally existed in the storyline this whole time, we swear, volunteered to act as jailer and sequestered herself in the underworld for eternity. Let me just point this out. You can imagine in your head, if I were to describe a ideal jailer. You're probably thinking, intimidating, tough, and, not blindfolded. I feel like you could tiptoe past her, I'm just saying. So while Erebos rules this realm beyond death, it was Clothis who acted as eternal seal, ensuring the Titans remained trapped. And so the gods ruled, confident in their position that they had so rightfully earned, until the satyr, I don't care at this point, Xenagos, presented a new threat. By harnessing that same power of devotion, he ascended to godhood himself, revealing an unsightly truth to the gods. They were as replaceable as a child actor as a secondary character in a low-budget sitcom. The sun god Heliod praised the sun, sent his champion, the planeswalker Elspeth, to destroy Xenagos, and she succeeded, despite being an affirmative action hire by Wizards of the Coast. However, the fact that Xenagos ascended at all haunted him. If the people of Theros looked up to Elspeth more than Heliod himself, she would surely take his place in the pantheon. Fearful, Heliod struck Elspeth down in her moment of triumph, casting her into the underworld to be forgotten, and then his poll numbers absolutely plummeted. Elspeth was dead, but her story was not yet over. Another planeswalker lurked in the shadows of Theros, the Nightmare Mage, Ashilari. Ashilari lived for fear, believing it to be the great equalizer of all things. No, once again, that would be dank memes. Hey, speaking of that, I posted a dank-ass Ashy Larry meme on my Patreon, so I mean, if you want to pay $1 just to see it, that's stupid. But if you want to support me on Patreon, I can especially appreciate it in January and February, where the ad rates are complete and total ass. I think I'm down to like $1.10 per 1,000 views. Like, seriously. Thus, while Elspeth should have received eternal rest in Elysia, which is like the, oh, I died in battle because I'm an awesome, amazing hero champion person zone, she was instead visited by constant nightmares from her past. Okay, I'm confused here. How does where you land in the underworld and having constant nightmares from her past have, like, how are those two different things? You can land in Elysia and still have nightmares. Like, they're like, well, instead of that, where is she then? And if you saw the trailer, now you're really thinking, seriously, where is she? So she dreamed of Daxos, her former love, whom she was tricked into killing. Wait, did that actually happen? I don't know the lore at all, but damn, that would suck. Of Heliod striking her down with the spear she had wielded in his name. And of her childhood torment at the hands of the wretched Phyrexians. What? Wait a minute. What? Okay, I gotta wiki this shit. Where the hell is this bitch from then? Okay, not Theros, because I was going to say, pretty sure the Phyrexians didn't land there ever. So Elspeth Tyrell is a planeswalker from an unknown plane dominated by the Phyrexians, is what it says. Which sounds like another retcon, a very recent one, but I don't know how to check when edits were made on a wiki page. Well, that's, interesting. And out of character for the Phyrexians, who don't usually, like, torment people. They just, like, take over their whole world and then go to another one, I think. So 2 things came of this. Ashy Larry's visions are more real than most, and in one of them, Elspeth seized Heliod's spear, Crusaor. By the way, that's not what actually happened. The first time that she stopped by Theros, Heliod and Purphoros, or Purphoros, whatever his name is. Yeah, it's probably not Purphoros. They were fighting, and then the sword that Purphoros had made, the Sword of Chaos, fell to the earth. And she was just like, oh, look at that. Grabbed it, planes walked away. Literally the definition of serendipity. And when she returned to Theros 10 years later, Heliod was like, neat weapon. Let me reforge it, because he wanted her to be the sun's champion or whatever. So he made it into the single best artifact in the history of the game of Magic, Godsend. And then later he stabbed her with it, and it shattered, unfortunately, but the 2 jewels that were in the hilt were made into her death mask. So no more Godsend. That thing's gone. Let's see, someone wants to reforge it again, which sounds like it would be hard at this point. But no, in this version of the dream, she stole his actual spear, Crusaor. And pay close attention to this next sentence, because it makes just all the sense. When the vision had passed, which it wasn't a vision, it was a dream, a twisted version of the spear remained, dripping with darkness and power. So Ashy Larry stops with the ability to cause nightmares, like turns it off. Then, for some reason, Elspeth sees a twisted version of it that wasn't even part of the dream in the first place, and then it becomes real. That's not how any of this works. That's not how Ashy Larry's powers work. That's not how the nightmares become real. She would have had to have seen it in the dream and then woke up with it when the powers stopped. So this is just like some BS superglue trying to take something and put it together so that we can go battle the Phyrexians later. And FYI, that's where Karn's going, in case you don't remember that one. He's going to repair the Sylex, planeswalk to their plane, and spike it. And as you may or may not know, if you break the Sylex, shit gets real. It's like a plane-ending nuke. So how Elspeth really got this twisted, weird thing without dreaming about it first and outside the influence of Ashiok's powers, you got me, but it happened because story. And then also very convenient because story, Ashiok learned of the Phyrexians' existence and promptly planeswalked away to learn more of these true living nightmares. So, in theory, Ashiok went to a plane that was controlled by the Phyrexians that hasn't been named yet. But honestly, that was so long ago, I have no idea where they landed or ended up or whatever. I thought New Phyrexia. I have no idea. So in 2021, get ready for new Phyrexia. Karn versus Ashy Larry, who is obviously going to take over as the Borg queen of the basically Borg, the Phyrexians. And then Mark Rosewater will insist that they bring Infect back, and they will have a grand total of 0 players left in the game. Meanwhile, the god Heliod contemplated the fragility of his immortality, which it's clearly not. He would not allow anyone to take his place in the pantheon, not even the other existing gods. Does he not know about the color pie? Just saying. To that end, he pulled the soul of the oracle Daxos, and it just says pulled. It doesn't even say pulled from where. He pulled it. He pulled it over his file cabinet. Yeah, he gave that soul a yank and transformed him into the champion, to his champion in the mortal realm. Now a demigod. See, I knew it. The demigods are just like, they were super powered by the gods for big old god battle. Daxos was instructed to remove all trace of the other gods from the great city of Meletis. Well, you're going to need one of those Men in Black little flashy, erase your memory things. Because when you get knocked out of the temples, I'm pretty sure people still remember who they've been worshiping this whole time. Just saying. The other gods, refusing to stand for such an affront, called upon their own champions from the underworld. Told ya. With this, the gods were at war. Okay, it's literally like at least 4 versus 1, and then you got like the weird mixed ones, and I don't know, like Xenagos is dead, but then what about that other lady? Yeah, don't ask me for a current god count. I have no idea. But what I can tell ya is it sounds like everybody versus Heliod. That'll go well. And when gods clash, mortals suffer the consequences. One such consequence took the form of rifts to the underworld, from which countless monsters poured forth. Yeah, you open that door, just saying. It's like you open the door in the summer to just grab the mail out of the mailbox, boom, 100 mosquitoes fly in. Erebos, the god of the underworld, was consumed by this conflict. He hated Heliod most of all, and in his rage, he neglected to keep a tight grip on the souls under his purview. Oh, so everybody's like, all the gods just reaching down, like pickpocketing the underworld, and Erebos is like, hey, and like trying to slap their hand away. He's like, quit sneaking into my soul collection, you dicks. News travels fast, even in the afterlife, which clearly has Afterlife Facebook, and Elspeth heard talk of rifts to the mortal realm, and that they might cause autism. Realizing her work in the multiverse was not yet done, she deemed it worth the risk, and she gripped her shadow spear and headed toward a hidden exit in Erebos' palace. How did he not see that one? I mean, there's some little distant part of the underworld where, somebody's grabbing up a soul to be a demigod. Okay. His own palace. If I walk into my living room, there's a hole in the damn wall, guess what? I'm going to notice real quick. Just saying. But Elspeth wasn't the only one seeking escape. Clothis was furious. One could even say blind with rage. When Xenagos attempted to take her place in the pantheon, because remember, I'm pretty sure those two share colors, which is why I mentioned them specifically before, she was understandably upset. She was like, Xenagos, I see what you're doing. I'm literally just converting Helen Keller jokes at this point. When countless souls dared defy fate to reverse their own deaths, she was livid. Why? She just lives in the underworld. What's that any of her business? She dispatched countless agents of fate to stop these souls from seeking new life. But for Elspeth's, a planeswalker's soul, she needed something special. So Clothis weaved her masterpiece, an agent of fate she called Calyx. Okay, I get it. So she made that bro so handsome, like no homo, he's a good looking dude on the card, that she'd just like see him and instantly be like, I'm staying in the underworld with this guy. So Clothis literally weaved a masterpiece, so created Calyx, and he was a planeswalker. Now you cannot create a planeswalker spark. So is it just a sheer coincidence that Calyx became a planeswalker and his spark awoke because he's a planeswalker in the card? Like, that's pretty interesting. So Calyx, which is obviously some stupid millennial douche Hollywood actor version of Alex, headed off in pursuit of Elspeth, who luckily was not named by her parents, Aiden with a Y, in order to preserve that which should be. What should be is Elspeth should be kicking Heliod's ass. Okay, let me just put my vote in for that one. You can drag her ass back to the underworld later. You got all the time in the world. I mean, just let her go kick him in the balls, you know what I mean? As Elspeth headed towards freedom, she gathered allies. Along her journey, she faced many battles and powerful foes, and Krillin probably died 4 more times, and she fought them all off. After each victory, she raised her spear high and proclaimed, "Behold, the true Crusaor. Heliod wields a fake." Yours is by definition counterfeit, so, twisted, inaccurate dream world version, I don't think you're going to be like, no, this is Heliod's real one. The one that's jet black, that's Heliod's weapon. The glowing white one is not his actual weapon. Fake news, bitch. She also clashed repeatedly with the unbelievably handsome Calyx, emerging victorious every time. But with each battle, Calyx did a little better. He was learning his foe as he learned himself, and that his name should have been Alex, but his parents wanted him to be unique and special. And I swear, every single time that I find somebody named Nevea, which is heaven spelled backwards, I'm going to tell their parents point blank to their face, oh, kind of like hanging a cross upside down. Why didn't you just name your kid Hell? Still, Elspeth defeated Calyx one final time as she reached the exit, where Heliod awaited her. Oh, that douche is spawn camping the portal. What an asshole. Hashtag Heliod is a camper. Let's get that twending on... twending. You know what? Yeah, let's get it twending on Twitter. Through Daxos, Elspeth's former love, Heliod had learned of her attempted escape. That also makes absolutely no sense. She killed him, right? Then he was in the underworld. Then he was resurrected. Then she got the spear and the idea to escape. So he was already gone. So how would he know that that was her plan? Boy, guys, this is really just coming right together here. Past the point of reason, Heliod stood in Elspeth's way, refusing her passage out of the underworld. She could not be allowed to escape. She's literally trying to escape so that she can go kill Heliod. So his strategy, if I'm reading this correctly, is to come to her at the portal. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. She would be the end of him. Okay, really? Now you're just driving home how illogical it was to go running up to her then. She was the cause of all this. Ranting under his breath, he charged Elspeth with his spear Crusaor, which promptly shattered in his hands. For some reason. For each time Elspeth repeated that her shadow spear was the true Crusaor, the onlookers' souls believed her. Okay, devotion from the undead probably doesn't count. I've never heard that, but just, kind of feeling it out, the design of this whole plane. I mean, maybe that's where Erebos gets his power, and the gods are just pure constructs made out of pure devotion and mana and Nyx material. And also probably Chemical X from the Powerpuff Girls. So, I mean, okay, Elspeth's little fake news campaign, I guess, worked. So it was the power of that belief, despite them all being dead. That devotion, despite them all being dead. That caused her lie to simply become truth. Oh, that's some SJW fantasy right there. They just lie enough times that it just becomes true. Staring down the point of a spear that was no longer his, Heliod yielded, and Erebos laughed. Now, it doesn't say this in the story, but I'm pretty sure in the official lore, Erebos said, and I quote, "You was popping off all that good shit a second ago, and then you got kicked in your chest. You eat a dick." To which old man Grandpa Heliod replied, "Whatever you say, darky." And then everybody in the underworld gasped at the sudden outburst of racism. In Erebos' centuries of existence, no sound had ever pleased him quite like the sound of Heliod's surrender. Clearly, he's never heard the coin pickup sound from Mario. And Erebos simply took the defeated sun god and placed him beneath a giant boulder where he would suffer for all eternity, or until he was forgotten by his worshippers above. Oh, that's funny. So he'll shrink and shrink and shrink until the boulder crushes him. Awesome. As for Elspeth, Erebos gifted her his eternal gratitude, but still, for game balance reasons, didn't change her mana alignment. Even though we know for a fact that Nissa tapped into Kefnet's ley lines of mana that created the god format mind brain thing and magically was able to use blue mana for a little bit, thus proving it to be not that difficult. Don't even get me started on Garruk. And Erebos also granted her safe passage back to the mortal realm. And that's surprising because Erebos' saying is pretty much dead is dead. After a brief reunion with Daxos, Elspeth planeswalked away. Calyx looked on, his very being in agony. Yeah, you failed, bitch. What you gonna do now? Literally the only thing you were born for. What you gonna do? It was his purpose to return Elspeth to where she belonged, and now he could no longer reach her. But in his darkest hour, a strange idea sparked within him, and he simply planeswalked after her. All right, everybody, it's time for the Calyx bullshit background story lightning round. Are you ready? Where did Clothis get a fresh soul? How did she create a fresh soul to create Calyx? Calyx otherwise is just a construct. Constructs can't be planeswalkers. How did depression cause a spark to ignite? It's usually stress or like the opposite of depression. Like an actual great threat or like a high adrenaline situation. And I'm pretty sure a strange idea is not what ignites a spark. You don't just think, I wonder if I could planeswalk. Let me try it. Also, isn't he constructed out of Nyx material? Can people who are constructed out of Nyx material even planeswalk that far away from Nyx without half their face dissolving? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Does he not have a spark? I mean, they literally said an idea sparked within him. I mean, come on. But can he planeswalk just because Nyx enchantment magic? My guess is no, because the gods have stated they cannot planeswalk. That's actually why Heliod killed Elspeth. And to top it all off, how many times have I probably accidentally called him Cyrix instead of Calyx in this video, because that used to be a CPU brand. So the creation of the spear is bullshit and doesn't match with Ashy Larry's powers. Ashy Larry having a scientific interest in those stronger than her that resemble nightmares but are living makes absolutely no sense and does not match with anything. Let me explain Ashy Larry here. Big, giant, powerful thing. Cool. I'm going to take it down with the power of fears and nightmares because everything fears something. That's Ashy's entire motivation. Not, oh cool, nightmares in the real world. I've never seen that. I'm going to go see them like it's a trip to the zoo. Because I'm totally not able to take nightmares and make them real. Like myself, without going to this Phyrexian world. And then you've got devotion from dead people somehow working, even though that's never how that works in any fantasy universe ever. I mean, it's even pretty much a rule that, like, if you're dead or undead or a ghost, whatever, you can't use magic. Like, we're talking like Harry Potter, D&D, everything. Can't use mana, can't influence magical creatures. Like, that's what being dead is. So despite everybody who's living up in the realm of the living believing that Heliod and his spear was real, a couple dead people disbelieving that the spear was real made it not be real. But only at the most dramatic time for the story it suddenly shattered. Not when she was telling the lie, not when she hit the tipping point of devotion, but right when she was about to battle him. That makes sense. And you know what? Why did Godsend shatter when he stabbed her with it? It's a god tier weapon that was made by Perforos, and stabbing one human, oh, it broke. What is this, Breath of the Wild? So anyway, I mean, not much more happens in the story. Basically, Elspeth and Calyx, it turns out they both planeswalk to Wendy's. They got that really good 3-for-5 deal. Calyx decided to change his name to Alex, and then immediately changed it to Cyrix. And then Elspeth decided to planeswalk to Zendikar, which we're visiting very shortly at the end of this year, to run for mayor against the 4th Eldrazi Titan, who currently does not have very good support among the populace, unsurprisingly. There's something about like Eldrazi and like genocide and like, you know, whatever. So I mean, that is the whole damn story, apparently. Now, they do have an extended, like non-chronological story, but it was posted on December 16th, actually, and it's titled The Theros Beyond Death Story on the cards. And they do have a lead-up, and then they explain, like, what each card does. So that is more extensive, but this was, like, the story, but it's like a summary of the story. So I guess we're just not getting the story. I don't know what the motivation here was. Did they just not want to pay, like, $1,000 to an author to write this in like 8 parts like they normally do? I think that they just couldn't find an author diverse enough, as they put it. I mean, look at the last couple they hired. They clearly didn't hire them because they thought their author skills were great. They just hired them because of their orientation or skin color or gender, or 2 of the 3. That's illegal in the US. But yeah, I guess for more clear details, go over to that old article. I'm too lazy to link to it because I'll just forget. But hey, if you want me to cover that one too, let me know down in the comment section. Otherwise, the best use for the comment section in a video like this is wild, absolute, rampant, wanton speculation about what we'll see in the future. What the hell, I forgot, IKEA, whatever, is going to be, and why we're going back to Zendikar again. Is it going to be A, some Phyrexian shit, B, some Eldrazi shit, C, some old gangsta shit? In other words, an unknown storyline that we haven't seen yet, but some old school references to some old school Zendikar beefs. D, some Gatewatch bullshit, or E, none of the above. I'm voting for Titan number 4, and I don't remember if that was a rumor or actually confirmed. Like that even is a thing that exists in the story. I thought maybe it was referenced once. I don't know. I might be making that up. Who knows? All I know is they didn't print Godsend on a card, and I'm pissed. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm developing a cold, so I'm going to go snort some zinc. I'll see you guys next video.